Nike almost failed before it ever mattered. Not because the idea was bad, but because nobody believed it would last. This is the moment Nike was ignored, underestimated, and nearly forgotten. And the decision that changed everything. Nike didn't begin as something people admired. It began as something people questioned. Not because the idea was outrageous, but because the world had already decided what success in sport should look like. There were already giants, already leaders, already brands people trusted. Nike arrived quietly, carrying more doubt than confidence. In the early days, there was no clear path forward, just a belief that something could be better, even if no one could explain exactly how. Money was limited, margins were thin, every choice mattered. And when resources are scarce, mistakes feel heavier. Nike made mistakes early. Some cost time, some cost money, some tested relationships. There were days when progress felt imaginary, when effort didn't seem to move anything forward. This is the phase people don't romanticize, because it doesn't look like failure. It looks like limbo. You're not winning. You're not losing. You're just there. Nike lived in that space for a long time. The sports industry wasn't waiting for it. Retailers weren't convinced. Athletes weren't lining up. And still, the work continued. Quietly. Not because success was guaranteed, but because stopping felt like erasing the possibility entirely. Early on, Nike faced a decision many builders face. Should we blend in to survive, or stand out and risk disappearing? Blending in felt safer. Standing out felt dangerous. Nike chose danger, not dramatically, not recklessly, but deliberately. Instead of copying what already existed, Nike began asking deeper questions. Why do people train when no one is watching? Why do they keep going when their bodies resist? Why do they push through pain without applause? Those questions weren't about products. They were about people. And people are complicated. They doubt themselves. They quit. They restart. They fail quietly. Nike realized something important during this time. Performance wasn't the story. Effort was. But effort doesn't sell easily. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't impress instantly. It requires patience from the builder and from the audience. Nike didn't rush this realization. It tested ideas. It listened. It adjusted. And for a while, nothing dramatic happened. No explosion. No breakthrough moment. Just slow movement forward. That's where most stories collapse. Because slow progress feels like no progress when you're inside it. Nike stayed. As months turned into years, pressure didn't disappear. Competitors grew, markets shifted, expectations changed. Nike was still small compared to the giants around it. And being small means being vulnerable. Every setback felt personal. Every loss felt amplified. There were moments when confidence wavered. Moments when the future didn't feel inspiring, just exhausting. But something was forming beneath the surface, an identity. Not something Nike announced, something it lived. Nike stopped chasing validation, stopped asking whether it belonged. Instead, it focused on alignment. Does this reflect effort? Does this respect the struggle? Does this feel honest? That alignment slowly changed how the brand moved. Decisions became clearer. Not easier, but clearer. Nike wasn't trying to please everyone anymore. It was trying to speak truthfully, and truth doesn't need volume. As this clarity settled in, people began to notice, not all at once, but gradually. Athletes who understood struggle connected with the message, not champions at first, but grinders, people who trained in silence, people who failed publicly, people who pushed anyway. Nike wasn't promising victory, it was acknowledging effort, and that mattered. Growth followed. But it didn't erase doubt. Even as recognition increased, Nike faced criticism. Some said the message was too emotional, too personal, too risky. But Nike understood something important by then. You can't build something meaningful without excluding something else. Appeal to everyone, and you stand for nothing. Nike accepted that trade-off, and that acceptance brought confidence. Not the loud kind, the steady kind, the kind that doesn't panic when results lag. Nike continued to build, to refine, to repeat. Mistakes still happened, failures still appeared, but they no longer defined direction. They became part of it. Over time, Nike's presence grew, not because it tried harder to be seen, but because people began seeing themselves in it. The message wasn't aspirational perfection, it was shared struggle. That's why it worked. Because everyone knows what it feels like to want something and doubt themselves at the same time. Nike didn't remove that tension, it honored it. As years passed, the brand no longer felt like an outsider. But it also didn't feel like an establishment. It occupied a space in between, and that space is powerful, because it belongs to people still trying. Nike didn't arrive suddenly, it arrived quietly, through accumulation, effort after effort, choice after choice, day after day. When the world finally labeled Nike a success, the work had already been done long ago. Success was just the echo. What mattered was the walk. And that walk wasn't glamorous. It was uncertain, lonely, slow, but it was honest. Nike didn't win because it avoided struggle. It won because it understood it. And that's the lesson hiding beneath the brand. Most people don't quit because they fail. They quit because progress feels invisible. Nike didn't wait for visibility. It kept moving anyway. That's what separates arrival from disappearance. Not talent, not timing, not luck, but patience. The willingness to keep walking when the road offers no reassurance. Nike walked that road, and eventually, the world followed. This channel is for people who keep going even when progress feels invisible. If that's you, you're welcome here. Subscribe to walk through it.